12 translated as, all the gates of the body restrained, the mind find within the heart, one's life force fixed in the head, establishing concentration by yoga. In this verse, Shri Krishna says what the yogi described in the last verse does. By the gates of the body, Shri Krishna is referring to the senses. Such a yogi restrains all the senses and confines the mind within the heart. Such a person will pull away the mind from running around in all different directions in all Vedic and worldly business, and will make the mind steady within their heart. First of all, such a person closes the gates of the senses, and then he makes the mind steady in heart. And then the person fixes his life force in the head, where the field of the Brahmananda, which is the plane of Brahman, is established by concentration of yoga. The 13th verse describes what a person does after achieving all of these things. We will understand, first of all, each of these steps. This is the exact way for which the whole 8th chapter is being said. Shri Krishna explains the exact step-by-step process of how a person who has an intense desire to attain liberation faces and accepts death. Shakespeare had said once that in one place that be prepared for death, and life there showed thereby will be sweeter. Once a person prepares for death and accepts death, then life becomes sweet. This is because such a person has accepted the reality and that it's natural. Such a yogi first restrains all the gates of the body. When we are going out of town, for example, for a week, 10 days, then we often close every single window and we double check it, the window of the kitchen, the window of the bedroom, the front door. We check all the windows are closed, but we pull it properly, not as if we would normally do it. I mean, I do this all the time. I pull it further, even though I know it's not going to go any further. And just we check that it's definitely closed. So such a yogi described in this verse, at the time of leaving their body, one closes each and every one of their senses. It is said in the Yoga Shastra that the body is no dvare pure dvehi, which is the city of 9 gates. There are 9 gates in this body. Whenever the life force leaves the body, then it goes out one of these 9 gates, one of these windows. What are these 9 gates, we might ask? The list of the 9 gates of the body are as follows: 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 1 mouth, 2 ears, 1 sex organ, 1 excretion, and 1 excretion organ. So that's 9 altogether. There are 9 gates of the body, and that's why the body is described as a city of 9 gates. On the majority of occasions, when the life force leaves the body, then it comes out through one of these 9 gates. Scientifically, when someone dies, there's sweat or moisture near the gate or the sense, one of these 9 gates where the life force went up from. Even though it may dry up immediately, and it doesn't stay, it's actually a proven fact in science. Therefore, if someone dies and you immediately observe them, you'll understand where their life force went out from. Secondly, all the other senses will look deformed and dry, but you'll still see some life from the gate or the sense from which the life force went out from. Let's say, for example, one can actually only experience this by experience, not just like that, and it's actually a relative thing. So the life force going out from one of these, if the life force goes out from one of these 9 gates, then the person won't be liberated. Therefore, we may ask, what does the yogi do? The true yogi will close all of these gates, and he controls all of these gates. Slowly and slowly, he confines his mind and his heart. It was said earlier on in the Gita that achaya manasa, i.e. the mind is fickle, and the mind runs around a lot. Such a yogi will attempt to make the mind steady. Where do they make the mind steady? The true answer is in the heart. And why in the heart? Because he has made the supreme truth steady in the sky of his heart. He has made the supreme soul steady in the sky of his heart. Therefore, he makes the mind and the heart steady in unanimity. The Yoga Shastra says that there is another meaning of the mind being confined to the heart. And this is because the life energy moves with the movement of the mind. The life energy keeps running after the mind. The more fickle the mind is, then the more the life energy runs around. When the mind becomes steady on the heart, then the life energy, by itself comes out of all these senses, becomes steady in the heart. Then in the heart, the life energy goes through the Sushumna Nadi, which is the channel through which energies of the subtle body flow to the head, and leaves the body through the Brahmananda, which is the plane of Brahman, which is one of the chakras described. When the life energy leaves the body in this way, then it becomes dissolved straight into the Supreme Soul. Everything in this whole process is under control. When an ordinary human being dies, then it's not under his control where his life energy will go out from. This person doesn't even know. But a yogi in himself is himself leaving the body and is giving up the body. He doesn't die, but he chooses to give up the body. Therefore, say for example, when you leave a house, it's up to you whether you wish to leave from the front door or the side door or any other door, because you're the boss. It's you who decides. In the same way, this yogi is the boss of the body. He has trained himself, and that's why he himself decides that he wishes to leave through the Brahmananda, which is the plane of Brahman. He takes the senses inside himself, and these are the 2 uses of the senses. The senses can just be seen as doors, and there are 2 uses of doors. You can either take them outside of the house or take one inside of the house. These doors can also bring us back in. In the same way, the senses can be seen as these types of doors or gates that take us to the material world, or they can be brought within. The preference lies within us. A yogi, during his last moments, finally will take his senses towards his real self. He will make the mind steady in his heart. He will make this life force fixed in his head, and he himself successfully established concentration by yoga. This is yoga. Then we may wonder what he does after this, but this will be described in the 13th verse.